Are we at Code Red? 216-474-0092. It's that simple. Are we at Code Red right now? That was an embarrassment. Excuse me. It was another embarrassment.
It was the most recent embarrassment.
Of all the embarrassments we've been through, this was the most recent. It's that simple. 216-474-0092. I kind of want to leave the floor to you here because this is like I think that we've talked about it here over these last few days where it's like, okay, are the Browns' problems, are they covering up for the miscues and bad play of the Cleveland Cavaliers? And I think a lot of people are like, yeah, we haven't really paid attention, but there's injuries. Well, there's this. And I got to tell you, I've kind of felt in the same way for a long time. And it's a long season, so you just don't want to be caught saying things you can't take back because it's a long year. The Browns are the Browns are the Browns. It's a short season. There's a lot of things. It's like, man, you kind of plant your flag. You kind of know. But when it comes to the Cavs, baseball's the worst of it. I mean, you can make yourself look like a true ass during baseball season. However, it's not about looking bad. It's about telling the truth of it. And what's the truth of it is that it's uninspired basketball. It's sloppy. DeAndre Hunter, you said it right before the show. How does he look?
He looks like he is disengaged.
Yes. Checked out, if you will.
Yes. And then what? He got benched? Like he got news of his benching yesterday?
And Jalen Tyson, I like Jalen Tyson a lot. And a lot of people were wondering. I had a tweet about Jalen Tyson a couple days ago. It's like, hey, man, he's tough. I like his skills. He's come along very nicely for this team. He's doing the things that you wanted for other guys that you had to jettison before that you weren't able to get out of it. And a lot of the question was, well, does that make DeAndre Hunter expendable? And I'm like, yeah, I think in so many ways.
Here's the problem. I thought about this on my way in. The problem is Jalen Tyson has been a triumph. He has been awesome. He's a two-way player. He's got some athleticism. He's got some more range than they've had in a long time. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. You just added Jalen Tyson to the team that won 66 games last year. And then I thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, the problem is he's our third best player. And Oklahoma City has like 9 guys better than Jalen Tyson. Well, so that should tell you all you need to know about. And the Knicks have like 8 better players than Jalen Tyson.
I got to stop you right there. Oklahoma City, that conversation is off.
You're right.
I shouldn't even reference it. It's off the shelf. Yeah. There's no Oklahoma City conversation yet until we're talking about flipping switches at some point here. The Knicks, I guess you can talk about the Knicks because they're in the East if you really want to, but really we got to talk about our own problems getting out of our own way. And I could blame it on injuries. I could try. I mean, Evan Mobley's hurt. Okay, Darius is playing through it. Well, apparently Darius is going to play through it the entire year. Or his entire career,
and you can
according
see,
to Brad Doherty.
And you could see last night what that looks like, which is there are moments where you're like, oh, that looks like Darius Garland. Couple nice dribble moves, gets to a spot, hits a 3. Oh, nice no-look pass, being unselfish. Hey, that was nice. And then I watched the other 25 minutes, and it's him not getting back on defense, not providing any resistance because he has to choose. He has to pick and choose his spots. How is that going to work in the playoffs?
Not.
That's not going to work, guys. He's just going to get... The Charlotte Hornets picked on Darius Garland for the entirety of the game. Well, what do you think the good teams are going to do?
They'll pick on him for the entirety of the game.
And they can make him pay even more so than the Charlotte Hornets or the Bulls last night. I mean, again...
Well, it sounds to me like you're at Code Red.
I am.
We are at Code Red.
Last night. So again, where's our advantage?
Sound the alarm zone.
Where, especially with Mobley out, where's the Cavs' advantage? Where is it? The backcourt. Supposed to be. Right?
Okay.
2 max guys. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland.
When you said the advantage, I took you literally. I'm like, I didn't know you were talking philosophical there because I'm like, what advantage? I don't know.
Well, the backcourt for the Chicago Bulls, Josh Giddey and Kobe White. You totally got outplayed by them. And so if your advantage is getting outplayed game to game, you got no shot. And the Cavs brass knows this. The decision makers know this. What do you think Dan Gilbert, who is, I saw it last year in the playoffs. He is active again. He is going to the games. He's paying attention big time. He's going to be somebody that in the first LeBron iteration, like, do you remember how hands-on Dan Gilbert was? And then over time when LeBron came back, it was like, hey, that's the deal. You come back, I'm stepping away. And then he had to manage, his situation, and so he stepped away completely. Well, he's back. How do you think Dan Gilbert is watching these games, feeling about the most expensive roster in the NBA?
Not good.
That is functioning in the quote unquote second apron.
Yeah, when we lose more, it becomes so stark where it's not like, oh, they're an expensive roster. No, they're the most expensive roster in the NBA. You are the Mets of the NBA right now. You've spent a lot of money, and you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
I think if you add in the tax, I saw a number.
If you add in the tax,
that they're spending $390 million this year.
392, I thought was the number. 394.
Oh my God, 392. The Browns cap liability was 303. They've gone $90 million over that. The dome is $2.4 billion. So if the Cavs spent this over the next 8 years, that's a dome.
Cavs are also
7 years.
That on a roster size of what, 12?
Yes.
The Browns at least are getting 50-something guys out of the deal.
Ask Stan Van Gundy. That's why we didn't win the cup. We got no hungry guys at the end of the bench who aren't making any money.
Right. Yeah, they're making too much.
That's why we didn't compete in the cup.
Maybe next year.
Didn't have anybody in the soup line begging for breadcrumbs. Damn it. That's why we can't raise a banner for the cup. Got to get in everything we can before we put it away, man.
I don't want to put it away. That's the problem.
I'm going to keep referencing the cup. If they're going to play basketball like this, I'm going to reference the cup a whole bunch so we can have some fun.
And Surfside sponsor the cup segment?
Ladies and gentlemen, at your Cavs Surfside update, brought to you by Surfside. The wonderful people at Surfside ask you to please enjoy responsibly. Cup.
So they've got the worst bench in the league statistically.
I won't miss that thing.
I think they're one of the worst three-point shooting teams, even though they're shooting the most. I get that some of that will improve, definitely, when they get Max Strus and Sam Merrill. But if the answer to your question
is Strus, Moose, and Sam Merrill, then you're not in a good place.
You're not in a good spot at all. You're not.
Donovan Mitchell was asked about it. Where the hell's that sheet? This is professional. Donovan Mitchell was asked about it. What are the Cavs lacking? And here is what his response is.
There's consistency. And the worst part is that it's there in spurts. I'd rather it not be there at all, to be honest. And I think that's what's tough. Being down in the fourth, then we decided to flip the switch. So I think it's the level of consistency. I think it's the biggest thing.
Could you blame it on the lineups? Because that turns into a blame on injuries. Can you do that?
I feel like
consistency. You've had how many different lineups have they had?
They've
had over
yeah. But I feel like there's enough talent on this team to beat the Bulls last night. There's enough talent to beat that. I'm going to stick with this game the rest of the year. That Golden State game with that fans paid primo prices for, that had no Draymond, no Steph, no Jimmy Butler, and a lacrosse standout, and the lacrosse standout kicked your ass for 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Pat, what's his name?
Pat Spencer.
Pat Spencer.
Whose brother was really good, too. And he's on Memphis. Two lacrosse players are just dominating the NBA this year. Do we have to do our power rankings on best athletes?
They didn't play basketball at Wisconsin lacrosse? They're actual lacrosse players?
That would have made sense. Do we have to power rank the level of athlete? I always had NBA number one. Does this prove that lacrosse now? Because they're setting their lacrosse players and they're taking over the NBA?
Number one. Darts.
Did you see what happened? There was a dart incident recently.
No.
They didn't turn their darts at each other.
Thank heavens.
Because I think responsible dart players know that their dart throwing hand has to be registered as a weapon.
Anywho, it was the worst power ranking we've ever done. And that's saying something.
Well, we're getting ready to power rank those.
Do I have to do a chart on the worst power rankings?
No.
That's where we're at. Kenny, as the afternoon show would say, we're down bad. We are officially down bad on the Cleveland Cavs.
216-474-0092.
Don't crash out on me, Ken.
Jeff in Lakewood, you're next up on the fan. Hello.
What's going on?
Hi, Jeff.
All right. Yeah, great point, man. I'm on Cavs Nation, man, and like Lyman said, I'm just telling them, man, this is a broken team, man. This team is broken, like you said, unexpired, man. All you got to do is just watch them play. All you got to do is just watch them play, man. They just uninspired, man. There's so many guys not playing good. And I don't want to try to keep getting down on Kenny Atkinson, man. He one of the biggest problems, man, because you got guys come down shooting threes. Chicago come down shooting threes. They walk you down. You steady shooting threes. You're not running no plays. You're not playing with no passion and no heart, no gut, man. You know what I'm saying? And we got to stop using the excuse for the team.
Do you think that Atkinson is the biggest problem, though?
Atkinson one is the problem, man. This guy, they take on the image of him, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't put all the blame on him, man. He cannot get through this team, man. You could just see it, man. Wait a minute,
he was the coach of the he was the coach of the year like 8 months, not even 8 months ago.
We're the city of coaches of the year.
He was the coach of the year, but that was last year, man. You know what I'm saying? They got him to try to take him to the next level. He ain't doing no better than
what could he have done to go from coach of the year and everybody loves him to now he's trash?
Maybe telling Lonzo Ball to not have the green light for perpetuity.
I think I think they're trying to find offense anywhere because you had Evan Mobley who every time he got the ball it was a pose off like he was doing the robot because he was unsure to do what he was unsure to do what he needed to do with the ball at the time, which I know that looked ridiculous what I just did on YouTube, but it was, you got a robotic guy who you're trying to get going, and so you got to have some scoring from somewhere. So, yeah. And by the way, Lonzo, you pick him up, he can't drive the lane. You've said that before. He can't dribble because his knees are going to explode. So it's catch and shoot if he gets the ball.
Did you see last night, Jeff, did you see last night that Lonzo got to the rim and didn't even look at the rim? One of the few times he's at the rim. He threw it out to the three-point line.
Lima, say it again. You're right at the rim. I said he at the rim. He didn't even look at it.
Because he can't move. He can't move.
Another thing, I promise you, Dan Gilbert going to put his foot down because you can't, like Ken Carver said, you cannot, man, continue to use injuries as the excuse, man. The effort, this team is broken and fractured, man.
But I'll tell you this, Jeff. When you fired JB Bickerstaff, it's like, okay, this happens in the NBA, right. And I'm not trying to even use what JB's doing up in Detroit as an example. I know the Pistons are doing really well, right? But right. You get a mulligan with a coach. And when you let go of the coach, and then we're talking about getting rid of the next coach, I'm going, well, no, hold on here. Are we just going to fire coaches? Because they do that in the NBA all the time. But
exactly.
Now I have to look at the players and go, what are you guys doing for this? And then I got to look above them and go, who put the roster together? It wasn't Kenny Atkinson.
And one last point. In Lyman, you do the Cavs on the playoff post game you did last year.
For the 5 games
he
that
knows
they had.
Yeah, I know. Look. This Christmas, when the Cavs play New York gonna blow them clean out the gym. And I'm telling you, watch this Christmas. And then you're gonna say the fans, they're gonna say
that's next Thursday, Jeff.
I have that to get excited about. That's Christmas Day spectacular.
They're gonna blow them out the gym Christmas. They're gonna blow them out the gym.
Thank God I have a family now.
Jeff, thank you for the call.
Thank God I have a family.
What time's that game?
Do you know how sad?
Noon.
It's noon. Do you know how sad noon Christmas watching the Cavs would be getting slaughtered by the Knicks if I didn't have a family,
Kenny? I think you would love it if you didn't have a family. You would sit there and drink your bourbon, and that's all you would do. You wouldn't even care if they were getting hammered.
No, I'd be making my 5 stops. Instead of a bar crawl, I do a family crawl. I used to do that.
Well, you don't. You ain't going to hit me. There's Aunt Buzz ain't walking through that door.
R.I.P.
Uncle Johnny ain't walking through that door anymore.
See, we got a lot of new people to the show, so they don't know what this used to be like.
I used to go to Aunt Buzz's house for Christmas.
Well, that would be the first stop.
And then
it would be where the fun parties.
Oh, God. Yeah, you got to stay married. I'm sure Jim doesn't want you walking through his door. Here comes Tone. Here comes the fun.
Got to paint those rocks.
Here you go, dear. Here's another rock. Now, where's the drinks?
That's not a bad gift.
You gave her a pet rock.
That you paint, mean that's not and it comes with paint.
It's a terrible gift.
You can paint it however you want.
You can paint anything with paint. Don't give her rocks.
You could go out back and get more rocks when you painted the rocks that have been supplied. So it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Cavs are going to make me watch the NFL on Christmas, and I don't want to do it. Because I'm telling you right now, if they start getting hammered, I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to put myself through the hell of it. I'm not going to hear my family members say it, and I'm just going to go, you know what? How about Washington and Dallas? Parumpa-pum-pum. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be in a bad mood, and then I get to go watch Dallas. Great. Christmas sucks today, this year.
We're not even going to get snow, are we?
Nope. It's going to be 40, and it's going to be 45. All this hawk that you've already dealt with.
It's going to be gross.
It's just going to be wet and gross out.
Muddy.
And the Cavs are going to be like garbage against the Knicks. Oh, my God. Spike Lee's going to be out there probably in his Christmas tassels, Knicks stuff.
This is going to
be terrible. Terrible Christmas. Horrific. Enjoy that, Mason. This is the rest of your life, bud.
Is it going to be Johnny Bryant's team by then?
So Joe Varden's going to join us at 9. Like, I'm not trying to get overly defensive of Kenny Atkinson. If he is the problem, I want to know more. But you fired JB, and I've always kind of felt bad about JB because I think when we know that a coach is about to get let go, we try to find problems with him. So, like, I remember the timeouts were a problem. Plays after a timeout, the sets that they ran after timeouts were problems. There was a lot of things that I don't want to say we made up, but it's almost like you put too much on him. And there's things that when we talk about the Browns, it's like, hey, it ran its course. It might have ran its course with JB. Did it run its course with Kevin Stefanski? We've talked about it a bunch. I don't think it's ran its course with Kenny Atkinson, though, guys. Owen?
Well, I think we all kind of came to a conclusion it was time to move on from JB Bickerstaff at the time. The only reason I was really ready for it is because the Cavs, Kobe Altman, and Anthony Lima, they all told me that the roster's good. We don't need to change the roster. So obviously we needed to change something, and that was the coach, right? Well, we changed the coach, and it doesn't seem that it's gotten any better, and we still haven't changed anything to the roster, really, other than not bringing back Ty Jerome, which I guess,
that should not have been the linchpin for the entire season.
No. So what now, right? We're stuck in it now, and we can't get out of it. We're tires and mud that have lost their traction.
He's got a great point. Like, this is why I have to look higher than Kenny Atkinson. I mean, you could go ahead, fire Kenny Atkinson if you really want to start talking crazy. I think you'll probably still have there will probably be a kumbaya and some things would start well, but then I think you'd still have the same problems rearing their ugly head. But he's right. There were people when we were over there in that studio when they were redoing this. You remember some of the conversations we were having about the core four and breaking up the core four. And I remember when Kobe's like, they're keeping the core four and everything was fine. And that was a time where you really could make a move. Now it's like you're stuck. Like Jared Allen, like I know everybody's like, we got to trade Jared Allen. They can't stand. You're not going to get any value back at Jared Allen at all. He still is better than his contract. So you're going to get less. You can make the money work with Jared, but you're going to get lesser players.
Yeah, you'd be taking a bath on a Darius Garland trade at this point too. I know I saw stories out there that there are some NBA teams that think he could be their best player, and I'm like, who's putting that out there? His agent? Like, no teams think Darius Garland is their best player, especially now.
Anymore.
Right, especially
he's a good player, but good God,
especially now with the injury and knowing that this is something that could plague him for not only this year but beyond. By the way, I do have it here, and as far as the talent goes, Owen,
please.
The core four, the one thing I did think was, like, as much as I was openly talking about, hey, could we trade for Brandon Ingram? Would it make sense to move Garland for a wing that could get his shots off in the playoffs? And Brandon Ingram's having a really good year, by the way, for an overperforming Toronto Raptors team. I didn't think this would cost them in the regular season. Like, I thought the core four would, at the very least, win a ton of games in a regular season.
I agree with you. Jimmy Butler came up last year, and then they traded him, or whatever happened with him in the Heat, and now he's in Golden State. But I really wanted Jimmy Butler for a playoff run because he's a different animal, right? But I was willing to give up Garland then to try to get Jimmy Butler. Who knows what would have happened had that happened, but obviously.
Now there's just very little wiggle room. There's almost no flexibility because of the dreaded second apron. There have been recent coaches that have been fired the following season after winning Coach of the Year. Just shows you what people think of coaches in that league. Mike Brown in Sacramento won Coach of the Year, fired the next year. Monty Williams went to the NBA Finals and then got fired the following year. So Budenholzer, twice Coach of the Year and fired the following year. So in that league where they just think anybody can just step up on the bench and move, one chair aside, it's certainly not unprecedented.
The thing that the Cavs have done most consistently for a decade is hire a new coach and hire the guy that was the runner-up in the coaching search as the head assistant and have him, Ty Lue to, J.B. Bickerstaff to now, is it Johnny Bryant?
Yeah. So it wouldn't be crazy.
You're just blaming things. All right, Kevin in Cleveland. Hello, Kevin.
Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
We're doing well, Kevin. Go ahead.
So I just think the whole Kenny Atkinson, I genuinely, I think he is a good coach. I mean, we were the best team in the East essentially the best team in the East last year until it mattered, obviously. But I just think that's more so on the players. I think I would like to see what happens after the All-Star break. I know we kind of got a decent break there because of the NBA Cup that I know.
I'm sorry, Kevin. The what? The what again?
The good old NBA Cup, gentlemen.
Thank you. I'm going to use it every time I can. Go ahead. Continue.
I know that they kind of got a break because they weren't necessarily in the Cup. So I know they already got a break. I would like to see what happens during the All-Star break to see if they actually can, change a couple things around and, I don't know, maybe flip the script a little bit and start playing like they were last year. But again, it's not looking too great for our Cavaliers.
Well, the only things I think you can get is I think it's kind of fringe fill-in type of things, Kevin. Thank you very much for the call. Like, I know that there's been conversation again that popped up online, and I just really think it's online fodder for like Darius Garland. Okay, that would be a major move, obviously, but again, because of your contract situation, your second apron, there's very little that you can actually do. And I think they're kind of stuck with it because Jared Allen, I think, would be, Darius Garland and Jared Allen would be the first two. Just said it earlier in the segment. Jared Allen has overperformed his contract. You're not going to get a lot of value back from that. With Darius Garland, you're making a serious conversation. You're having a serious conversation about your future. So if I try to calm down a little bit and I say, is Evan Mobley going to come back at any level? What's his level going to be? Or are we going to be watching this the entire? Like there's so many ways that I just don't know if you're getting out of it. What are they doing wrong that they did right last year with basically the same group? You can move DeAndre Hunter, but what are you going to get back in return that's going to make that big of an impact? Because they are taking on water big time here, Tone.
Sometimes kind of roster will just it'll kind of unfold and tell you things just based on how they play. Like last year, there was a connectivity with all of these guys that they feasted on vulnerable opponents. They knew every time they were going in the gym that they were going to kick your ass every single time. The way they played. Remember, Ty Jerome would hit those threes at the end of a Cavalanche, and they would be clowning their opponents. Everybody's doing that to us now. And they're not even good teams. Bad teams are doing this to us. On how many nights? How many nights have we been down? 17 seems to be that magic.
Too many damn nights.
It's like, how the Browns, it was, can they score 17?
Right.
In the NBA this year for the Cavs, bad teams have had 17-point leads against us in the third and fourth quarter consistently. Now, we came back and won the Wizards game because the Wizards are like openly trying to lose. But it's been every single night. I think we got down 17 again last night. That just shows you, like, this team is fatally flawed. And Max Strus and Sam Merrill, yeah, they might help you win some games. That is
fatally flawed.
Yeah, that is not going to change, your overall ceiling and everything. If you are on a nightly basis getting outplayed by bad teams with young players, it shows you something is toxic in the water. It does.